Hello book lovers and welcome to Book Talk Radio Club. My name is Claire Perkins and today I'm talking to author Jenny Ford. Jenny is a multi-genre author, having written contemporary women's fiction, plays, self-help, inspirational and children's books. Today we're going to be talking about her newly published book, The Loss of a Child, My Story. It is about Jenny's daughter Catriona, who passed away 28 years ago, and she was recently guided to write about her experience. Hi Jenny, first of all welcome and thank you for coming back on Book Talk Radio Club.
Thank you Claire, thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Would you like to tell us all about Catriona?
Well she was a beautiful little girl, a very smiley, happy little girl, very much a daddy's little girl as well. Her eyes would always light up and beam as soon as he walked in the room. But yeah, she was just a very happy, smiley little girl.
And what happened? May I ask what happened?
She passed away with bronchial pneumonia.
Oh, that's awful.
Very suddenly.
Right. And you were guided to write this book, weren't you? By whom?
By her, really. I think what happened was I was doing an interview with somebody else about my other books and my health issues, and the conversation came up about my daughter.
Right.
And I was just like, the very next day I woke up and was just so inspired and so guided to write my story about her. And it was like she was sitting next to me, as I was saying, sort of like my launch yesterday. She was sitting next to me saying it's okay, it's okay to do this. So
right.
I had her blessing to do it.
How long did it sounds like it was almost like a divine intervention. How long did it take you to write it?
It took me 3 days.
I can imagine because when you're so inspired, it really happens very quickly, doesn't it? So it must have been heartbreaking though to bring it all up again.
It was, I must say. I mean, it's probably the hardest book I will ever write. And yeah, it did bring up a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings, and a lot of memories. But, it was so very healing at the same time.
Yeah. I can imagine that. Your intention is to let other parents that have lost a child know that by sharing their story, it will inspire others and also will help with their healing process. Would you say your book is also a guide to grief and what to expect?
I don't know about a guide to grief. It's just literally my story. It's my experience of what happened to me and my, grieving process and healing process. We're all very different in the way that we sort of like handle things.
Yeah.
But I would like to think that, by telling my story, that it will, help other parents, not just parents, but, grandparents and uncles and aunts, and
sure.
Because when you lose a child, it affects the whole family.
Of course it does.
Not just the parents, it's the whole family that, are going through it as well. So the book is about, sort of like saying that, it's okay. It's really okay to talk about, your child and your grief. Because, sort of like when we hold stuff inside.
You say, and I quote, I share the heartbreaking time of my life to let other parents know that it's okay to feel the way they do. I want to let people know that talking about their feelings, their sorrow, their worries, their pain helps. When you lost her 28 years ago, were you able to find support, and what kind of support?
We had no support. No.
You're joking.
Say we had no support. We did support from our friends and our family, but we didn't have any support, as in support from groups, for bereavement and things like that. We wasn't offered anything back then.
That's awful.
And these group support groups are so amazing. They really are. They do such brilliant work.
Although things have got better, I mean, there's still a feeling, though, that to talk about one's grief and fears is not the thing to do. And also, why would we need to burden other people with our sorrows? Would you agree with that? I mean, that's how it feels still.
Yeah, I mean, sort of like, people sort of like will talk about their grief and, in their own time when they're ready to talk about it. There's no set time. I mean, it took me 28 years, even though I've never had a problem talking about her or what's happened.
Yeah.
It's just sort of like, as I started sort of writing the book, I thought my healing process was complete after 28 years. And it obviously wasn't at all until I finished writing the book. And then, my healing did feel complete. So it's about, it's getting other parents and that as well to share their experiences and share their stories with other people, because you will just keep inspiring other people, with your story.
Yeah.
And it will help as well. It will help other people, but it will also help you as well with the healing process.
You're supporting the charity Child Bereavement UK. Every book that is sold, you'll be making a donation to them. Who is Child Bereavement UK and what do they do?
Child Bereavement UK are a charity that they help with parents who obviously have lost a child. But they also help children that have lost a parent. So
yes, of course, it's the other way around as well, isn't there?
It is, yeah. So they do both sides of it. They do a lot of different kinds of counselling and stuff for children and parents. So so that's why I chose them, because it was sort of like it was parents and children as well that they help.
The death of a child goes against the natural order we expect life to follow. And the loss carries with it the loss of the future, the hopes, dreams and potential that can never be fulfilled. And the longing for the child and the feeling of emptiness can last a lifetime. From my experience of recently losing my dad, time does move us on, and although the loss is always with us, the memories of the loved one become sweet. Is that how you feel now after 28 years?
Obviously, you never forget.
No, of course not.
The loss, but it does get easier as time goes on. It's that great saying, that time is a great healer, and it really is.
Oh, isn't it just?
So sort of as I say, there's no right time or wrong time. It's only in your time when you're ready to. But in the meantime, you can help release your feelings and your emotions. By writing things down. If you can't talk about it because it's still too raw or too painful, then write about it, because, the written word is so powerful and so healing as well.
Yeah, even if you don't do anything with the words or the writing, it's just writing it down makes you feel, well, it's a release, isn't it? It is a release, definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah, you don't have to write a book, you can just write things down just for your own benefit.
Exactly.
Just to release it, just so that you're letting it out.
Jenny, what advice would you give to parents that have just lost a child?
Well, obviously, my heart goes out to anybody who's lost a child. It really does. All I can say really is, sort of just do it, go in your own time. Just sort of go through your grieving and your healing in your own time. Just know that other people are there for you. If you want people to, if you want that support, even though sometimes you don't want to talk to anybody, but the people are still around you if you do need them at any time. And the support groups as well, as I keep saying, sort of they are just wonderful places. And they're there. They're there to talk to you and help you, because I'm pretty sure that most of these counsellors have actually been through the same process themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. They know what you're going through.
You have 3 children, as well as your little angel Catriona. Would you like to tell me the listeners about them?
I do. I have 3 gorgeous children. children. My eldest, Sophie, is 27. My son's 25, Christian, and my Lucy is 18.
Oh, lovely.
So they're good kids.
In 2010, you were diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. That must have been a hell of a shock for you and your family. How has the MS affected your day-to-day life?
It was a shock. It was a massive shock because it was something that just came on literally all of a sudden. So yeah, but I manage day by day. I have good days and I have bad days. But yeah, I manage.
They say out of bad always comes good, and through the MS you found your passion, writing. How did that come about?
That came about by I actually got involved with meditation and mindfulness,
Right.
and that is sort of like what helped me to refocus on my life. It helped me to accept my MS, and I now believe that my MS was given to me as a gift so that I can help other people through challenges in their life, to know that you can move on. There are better things ahead for you. There's greater things out there. It doesn't have to stop you from doing things.
To some extent, we all find our lives are turned upside down and inside out. But what I think, it changes us and it makes us stronger, more able to deal with other stuff, more resilient. Would you agree?
I guess so. I think I have got stronger as time's gone on. But I think I've been given a lot of inner strength as well to carry on with everything. So you can get stronger.
You call yourself an inspirational, intuitive author, and you know what? I think with this book you're spot on. I wish you all the luck in the world with it and hope it reaches as many grieving parents as it needs to. Last of all, where can readers purchase The Loss of a Child, my story?
They can go on my website, which is jennyfordauthor.com, or you can go on Amazon, or my publishers, which is theendlessbookcase.com. So there's all different ways you can purchase the book.
Wonderful. All right, well, thank you, Jenny. Please come back on Book Talk Radio Club when you've published your next book. I'd love to chat with you and hear more. In the meantime, good luck for the future, and thank you, everyone, for listening to Book Talk Radio Club. Thanks very much, Jenny.
Thank you, Claire.
My pleasure. Bye now.